See how we're doing. Aha! Yes, we are live. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to HoDiGaLe. Yeah. Because as you can see, we have Lena with us, but introducing, we have the glamorous, as always, Lady G. Thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Yes, total glamour-puss.
Oh, indeed. Always. She's always got a style, something up her sleeve. We have Dianne from Dianne's Tarot. Thank you for joining us. And, of course, Sunday morning for Lena here. She just keeps the camera. She's not
Look,
a
it's a
morning
sacrifice I make for our viewers.
Of course. So you're here and your contribution is much valued and much appreciated. So today, folks, so welcome everyone who is also joining us in the chat. And as usual, I will click up some of your comments and stuff as they come in. And what I wanted to give is kind of slightly less questions today. We're going to end on a big question. We're going to end on a Russia question.
Yeah,
that's what we're going to end with, and then we're just gonna, but as usual the ladies don't know what questions I'm going to ask in advance, but it's kind of less questions, it's more about certain characters, shall we say, from US politics, and kind of as we've all been gripped and riveted by the Jan 6th Commission, which is just, I mean, on one level it's sort of like the gift that keeps on giving, but it's also a little shop of horrors, isn't it? Because it's
isn't it both those things?
Right.
Absolutely. We thought, you know, what can they do really with these hearings? And they've done a magnificent job. Yeah.
It's been fantastic. But what they are unearthing now, as you guys know, as we all know, look, we've done a lot of rummaging on these rather, I don't know how. What's the unsavory characters? That's a polite way to to put it across. These unsavory characters. But given what has happened recently, particularly in regards to the Secret Service, even I am just like, what?
Yeah. I tell you what I don't understand about that story. When January 6th happened, I would have thought on January 7th, some organization in the government would have captured all their communications on January 7th. Why a year and a half later, they were subpoenaed on the 14th of July or something? Why weren't they in somebody's hands on the 7th? You know?
Yeah. It's
a system failure.
Absolutely. Yeah. We're seeing some extraordinary stuff, and as you guys know, but I'll keep saying again on every show until this transit has passed, we are having Mars, planet of war, heat, conflict, literally heat. Look all the heat. We're going to be having a massive heat wave tomorrow in the UK. Lena, we're getting up to kind of Australia style temperatures.
Yeah, I saw during the week they was going to send the kids home because it might get to 33, and which is a joke by Australian standards, but it went to 40, which is a lot centigrade. I don't know what it is Fahrenheit, but it's a lot.
Yeah. That would be 104. I searched it out. In the UK, we've never had 104 in our entire history, and we may hit it this Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday. So Mars, planet of heat, fire, revolution, weapons, blah, 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 coming together with Uranus, sudden shocks and surprises. Uranus even deals with things like heart attacks and strokes, believe it or not. So that's going to be relevant. And then, of course, you've got Rahu, which deals with lies and all sorts of kind of cray-cray going on. So what I think we should start off with, because, of course, this has been quite a big topic, maybe not as significant in terms of the legalities of the future of America, but Snapdragon asked, how will the passing of Ivana Trump affect her children going forward? So I thought we should have a chop on that. And while you ladies are shuffling, and again, whoever's free first, feel free to dive in, and it's normally Dianne who's the swiftest in this department. You never know.
Usually
have a few surprises up her sleeve.
Ooh.
And I'll just click on some. So thank you everyone for joining us this evening. Everyone's piling into the chat. Let's see who we got here. Let's see. Santa Fe, what's this? Oh, Diane, are you ready already? Yeah.
I am, but
perfect. Go,
okay.
go for it. I'm just having a look through it.
So, I mean, I think this probably just means that they're trying to persevere. I mean, they just lost their mother, right? And even though they are sort of like supervillains, they still must have some sort of human emotion. So I'm assuming that they are feeling something. So they're trying to persevere, I think, through this. But the interesting part is, for whatever reason, it's making them have decisions that they don't want to make. So it's kind of like thrown things off kilter in their world. So I'm kind of actually thinking maybe she played a more steadfast role than maybe what we realized, because now they're getting off kilter. And then you'll like their outcome. You know, I get the card of drastic change, Knight of Wands, and I ask, well, what kind of change? Aha. This is one of my cards for 45.
Wow.
So it's like, okay, well, they can't run to mom anymore. So now they're kind of left with dad. And I think that's probably predictable how that's going to work out, right? Because he's going to throw them under the bus to save himself no matter what. Whereas I don't think the mother would have. But yeah, I don't think they're feeling too good right now. I think this is going to have a real negative impact, because I think she played a more important role in their lives than what we were privy to.
Yeah.
Wow. Ooh, what's that thinking there? Who's ready? Who's ready next?
Oh, well, I'm ready. I read on this for my show yesterday, so I thought I'd just sort of follow it up in my head, you know, and as I was shuffling, and the impact of Ivana on her children. These out of 4 cards, 3 are major arcana, starting with the Tower. The 8 of Wands, it's going to have many more implications than even they realize. She was the star in their world for all of them, actually, which is bearing out what you were saying, Dianne, much more influential. Because I think as a mother, obviously, of a significant family, regardless of what we think of them, but she was a star in her own right. And the last card was the Death card. This is going to be, I think, the final nail in their intimate family coffin, regardless of what plays out politically.
Right.
They'll never be the same again without her force of nature there. Yeah.
Fascinating. Lady G, what do you have for us?
Well, what I have is, first out, they're trying to remain as logical, calm as they can. But when it comes to starting new endeavors for them, they really feel alone. Underneath of it, we have they're buying and selling and feeling the burden and strife. They're struggling with it. It's brought to them a lot of difficulty. You know, they're just really cutting difficulty and just feeling like they're being beat down. They really depended on her a lot, and without her, there is a stabilizing factor. They're just, you know, in they're not going to have a good time. They can't depend on their dad. You know, they depended on
never could.
No.
Yeah.
So they've just lost all moorings.
Wow. So what Sheila has just said, so she's saying at Dr. Lena, the reason why there wasn't a capture of data on Jan 6 is because, Trump and his minions were still in power at the time.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
So really,
but still, maybe January 21st after Biden went in, you'd still, at the beginning of all these hearings even.
Exactly. Yeah, you would think so. So it's quite interesting what's happened with my cards as well, but I just want to, basically on the 22nd of June of this year, you guys may or may not have seen, but I had this dream about Trump. Yeah, I had a dream about Trump. And you may remember it. And I had this dream that there was this huge earthquake that just came along and just like flattened. It was like Mar-a-Lago, one of his towers or something like that. And there were two women there. One was brunette, and then I was thinking, oh, maybe that was Cassidy, Cassidy Hutchinson. And what it was that this there were Trump's house had collapsed. There was this another kind of tower thing, which was looking at that collapse, and this woman with brown hair jumped from the top of that tower onto what my tower was to be saved. But you know what some people have also said? They said that brunette woman could actually be Ivanka Trump in her original.
Right. Yeah.
Because she dyes her hair. She's not a natural blonde. So I was like, ooh. And the other woman was blonde. And what I think it is that dream was alluding to what has happened with the death of Ivana, because what the dream was saying to me is like something in the Trump's family's foundations will collapse. Like, and if you think about it, the mother is that, if you think of the archetype of the mother energy, it is that supporting energy, that quiet power, sort of like sometimes behind the throne. So I think that's what that dream was alluding to as well. This will ruin the kids. Obviously, Trump is made sure there was a donate button, underneath.
Yes.
Do you know, apparently someone said in the comments on that, they said his grift is greater than his grief.
Oh, don't. And it's so true.
So true. So he's got no taste at all.
I mean, normal people would be saying, in lieu of flowers, please donate this to children's charities or something. No, here's the link. Send me money.
Send me.
Yeah, I know.
He's so crude.
It's just unbelievable. But may she rest in peace, because she was like your cars were saying, she was a brilliant woman in her own right. I think she was wasn't she Olympic skier and all of this other stuff.
Look, I think some of these stories were gilded,
Oh, really? Yeah.
She probably went up the slopes a few times, but it's not the point, really,
Well, Lena's always got something asinine up her sleeve. Well, there we are. All right.
I mean, it's like Melania getting the Einstein visa,
Sorry.
Yeah. Anyway, just with Lena's brilliant. So with my cards here, get the Two of Pentacles. So obviously, look, the passing of their mother, because it's sad for anyone. This is leading to a juggle. So this suggests that she was more significant in the finances than first appeared. Because why would this card of juggling, trying to sort things out? Maybe she was some hidden custodian or some kind of benefactor or guarantor of certain assets and stuff. But clearly now she's gone. In the obstacle position, look at this. And that was the Two of Pentacles. We've got the Seven of Cups. So here they're feeling a bit lost at sea. This has obviously thrown them for 6. I mean, they knew that they were going to be going in court and stuff like that. But this is the card of illusions and delusions, but also as well having to make a lot of choices. And this has really put a cat amongst the pigeons. So I think she was much more significant than we realize. Then we get the Ten of Swords reversed here. So of course, when it's the right way up, it deals with betrayal, etc., and stuff like that. Sometimes this can actually refer to a healing in terms of when the swords are falling out, but nonetheless, we can still take it as this kind of shock, a devastating shock to the family that has essentially undermined their foundations. They've got the Magician out, so we know who is obviously going to be trying to use every single resource that they can, including donate buttons. So we know that this is a bit of duck l'orange, but also as well, this is also the rest of the wider family. They're really going to have to pull on their skills to try and get themselves together. They're going to try and get some command. However, look what's in the outcome position: Justice. So the court case will only be delayed, but not denied. It won't be stopped.
Well,
so
exactly.
I think
the magician could be magic tricks, to do
right.
that.
Oh, absolutely. Exactly. So there could be manipulation. There could be magic tricks. Look, they're going to have to literally pull every resource out the bank, but particularly when it comes next to that Ten of Swords and the illusions, and the juggling. and justice. I think it's very clear that I think it's choppy waters for the Trump set. Anything else that you would like to add to that, ladies, before I introduce a new word to the English language?
Claudette says narcissists do not grieve, which is probably true. Yeah. And Dina said there's no low bar that Trump hasn't surpassed.
And I just feel that her death is suspect. She has a lot more knowledge than what they give her about the inner workings of the business and stuff.
Interesting. So I did a as you guys might know, I looked at Ivana's passing via Donald Trump's birth chart.
Yes, I saw that video.
Oh, did you? Yeah. And well, you would have seen for yourself. It was exact. All the stuff with Ceres, Pluto, Saturn, opposition, T-square, the whole shebang. And the thing is, there's a curious thing about Uranus. Uranus, on a personal level, it doesn't just deal with he deals with sudden shocks and surprises, revolution, blah, blah, blah. But in a person's chart, he is associated with strokes and heart attacks. So that would actually correlate with that timing. So, but you never know. Pluto is involved as well, which is a very, very dark planet. So my instinct would be to say it's too soon to know. Apparently she was at home on her own, but you never know. I would never put anything past Trump, but I'm saying natural causes in terms of looking at his chart. You never know.
Yeah, he came out and said she died from blunt force trauma, not a heart attack.
Yeah,
but she's in a winding staircase that's heavily padded. So what, if you're going to go fall down the stairs, you would think you would hit your head or something, but they said it was to the torso.
And she has an elevator in the apartment.
I was wondering that.
I'm going to crack the whip here because we're almost a third of the way through and we've only done one question.
True.
Let's cycle.
Indeed. And one thing I just want to say is, so this new word, what is it? To describe the levels that this guy can go to. And I was like, Trump blasphemy. Trump blasphemy. And I've defined it as acts or behaviors that are so grifting, vulgar, violent, or crass as to be beyond the beyond of what was previously thought possible in human behavior. There you are.
I love that.
Trump blasphemy. Yeah. Okay, let's move on. Now, in many ways, this is probably the most important question here. So here we are. So Secret Service, not even alleging, they did delete texts. And it's like, oh my God, what does this mean for America going forward? Because for me, this is deeply disturbing.
What is? Sorry, I missed it. What's
the Secret Service have been found?
Oh, the Secret Service stuff is shocking.
They've deleted the text.
Yeah. I know. It's just dreadful. So people are asking, the deck I'm using today is the alchemical tarot deck.
Secret Service.
It has nice little silver sides. What's going on with the secret?
For me, this is just beyond the pale. This is just. Let's see what the cards say. Secret Service. To me, this is definitely the Secret Service. Definitely a Trump blasphemy. That's for sure. Outrageous.
All right, I am good to go. That's okay.
Go for it.
So I get the Sun card, and I think that we're all becoming enlightened to what's going on. We're all finding out what's going on. The situation's being illuminated. Something that maybe we didn't know right away. Now we know that this is happening. And once you know something, you can't unknow it. So now that we know that we have this problem, it's going to have to be addressed. The problem is there wasn't very swift action. Here's the Knight of Swords. They did not act quickly enough, like you were saying, Lena. You know, I mean, why did we wait this long? I mean, my goodness, it just seems ridiculous. But here's the Secret Service thinking, oh boy, I got away with it. And this does have like that Russian feel to it. And so that makes me wonder, okay, well, where were all these commands and orders coming from in general? And then where were the orders coming from to delete them? And, you know, it just, it opens up the whole, everything becomes suspect, I think, at this point. I think the Three of Swords, part of that is us as Americans. And I also think part of it's the Secret Service that got caught. They're not in such a great mood right now, are they? Because they're going to have to answer for this. But I do think that we do have strong enough leadership at this point to get something done, to at least have this addressed. And I remember when Biden first became president, he said that he did not trust 45's Secret Service agents. And so I think, you know, here's Biden coming in saying, look, we need change. And so I think ultimately we're going to see change, but it was slow to come.
Yeah. And thanks for the donations, folks. Who's ready to go next as I'm just scanning through the comments?
Lady G?
Sure. This is a painful revelation for America to see that we have Secret Service that would manipulate this stuff. And so between that, heartache and the manipulation, this is something people are juggling. They're trying to get a handle on it. So when we have the manipulation and coming to an end, you know, they're looking at all the people that are involved with this and wanting to put an end to it. The corruption, it's just all the corruption coming out. They're just, Yeah,
just astonishing. The Snapdragon just thanking us for doing her question about Ivana. It's just disgraceful, isn't it? But Lena, what do you have?
Well, interesting. This is the Seven of Wands, like it's two dogs fighting. I think this is like committee versus the Secret Service for now, but it's broader than that. It's the fight for righteousness versus corruption. And America needs to decide and prioritize and be brave enough to really look into this as it's an extra twist to the tale. Yes, who was behind the scenes? The Three of Pentacles. Who did the orders then? Who did the orders now? Who's doing the ordering? Who is in charge of the Secret Service? You know, really in charge. They will experience loss over this, meaning loss of respect, loss of trust. That's why it's so dangerous. But our final outcome, the truth, will prevail.
Oh, that's good. I mean, that's encouraging. I mean, on many levels, what I find so serious about this is that, okay, the Secret Service, the giveaway is that it's secret, yeah? But if they are going around and they are deleting what is effectively state information, like this is part of what is essentially part of the public archive. Or
it should be there forever. You should be able to look up those things in 150 years' time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And for them to go and, you know, and they're saying, oh, it was this, so we would transform it. I mean, do they really think people that stupid that it just so happens to be on the 5th of January and the 6th of January?
Yeah, look, it's obscene in its clunkiness.
Oh, exactly. And it's just like the fact that they can't come up with anything more sophisticated than that. I just find it really disturbing. I just find it really, really disturbing. And so the cards that I've got here, so I've got the Seven of Pentacles. And we know this is about what? Perusing thing, looking thing. I think these texts came in and they scrutinized those texts and they were like, this isn't looking good. Because quite literally, we can see there's the guy. So this is the information. Of course, it can deal with harvest, but they were literally looking at these texts, eyeing them up. And then what did they decide to do? They hid them. Here's the Hermit. So of course the Hermit, of course, is about what, research, going within and stuff like that. When it's reversed, it can mean things like paranoia, wanting to conceal information, quite literally like the opposite of that lantern. So they perused the text. They were like, oh God, this doesn't look good for Duck L'Orange. Yeah. And obviously they've been infiltrated. So they've decided to what? Hide that scrutiny or even delete. They want to walk away from it all. Here we are. So this is the Eight of Cups, but it's in the reverse position. So they've tried to kind of throw these in the bin, so to speak, walk away, say, oh, nothing here, but they're not going to be allowed to, because this is too serious. You can't have the Secret Service doing stuff like this. Then what do we get?
Serious. Oh, sorry, go on. You finish.
Oh, okay, no problem. And here we've got the Hanged Man in reverse. Yeah, so when we know the Hanged Man can mean delays and all of this kind of stuff, but this can really feel like when he's reversed, feeling like you're really in a pickle that you can't get out of. Yeah, so they're trying to walk away, but they can't. They're in a pickle. And why? Because look, Three of Pentacles reversed. Dark collaborations. When it's the right way up, we know that it's about community, etc., stuff like that. This is about machinations behind the scenes, dark money, negotiations, all that stuff. And someone was saying today that one of the senior people, if I remember correctly, from the Secret Service became one of Trump's personal guards, or what was he? What did he become?
Oh, they gave, Trump gave him a job with a huge title, Homeland Secretary or something ridiculous, But there's a bigger problem here, which is Biden and all of Congress and everyone are still protected by the same agency.
Yeah.
Right?
Wow.
Duh.
Very, very interesting. We'll have to see how that goes. And there's over 1,000 of you with us this evening.
Hi, guys. And I think this speaks to another issue, which is everything, which is this for America at this turning point in history. The time for Band-Aids is over. It has to be a root and branch, clean out and wake up call in every facet of government.
Yeah, because I think it's clear if the Secret Service are doing stuff like this, then we know other agencies and stuff are compromised. So it's time for a huge purge, which can actually be the positive side of Pluto. Actually, it's the purge, cleansing. Let's anything else to add on that before we move to the next one?
Let's move.
Right, let's talk about Mark Meadows. Yeah.
Oh.
Let's talk. So this is really simple. Mark Meadows, what's the future for him? Let's pull on this guy.
Oh. He's just so awful. And he flies under the radar because he's not out there every 5 minutes sucking up, media oxygen. He flies under the radar doing these terrible things.
I'm going to change. I'm going to use, even though I'm not so familiar with it, I'm going to use the deck of the Golden Dawn Tarot, which I had to buy last minute because I was meeting up with a client and I forgot my tarot cards at home.
Oh, right. So you had to grab whatever they had.
Yeah, and then I was pulling the cards and then I ended up interpreting the Tree of Life as the Ten of Pentacles because I was completely thrown. But I think we'll see. Who's ready? Who's ready to go?
I'm good.
Yeah, go, Diane.
All right. So
Meadows.
he's like at this turning point in his life where he's coming into his karma. And so he's gonna start reaping what he's been sowing, and for him that's obviously not so good. His obstacle, here's this character holding the scales of justice. He's going to have to pay for what he's done, right? When I go further out, I get two cards. Let me put this one down. That when I put them together, just scream of legal issues. The King of Swords, the Hierophant together. He is facing a lot of legal issues coming up. And when you want to know about the outcome, well, here we go with the Devil. So I don't think it's going to go well for him. I think,
you wouldn't.
So I think he's been able to go under the radar, be nice and quiet. No one's really doing much to him. But I think those days are over, because I think in terms of like his soul contract, this is a time where he faces the music.
Interessante. Who's ready next as I rummage?
I'll go. I'm growing to love this deck. This is the 5 of Wands. His fingers are being burned.
Oh, I can literally see they're on fire.
I love that. He's in trouble. So the 5 of Pentacles, loss and grieving, because he's really stapled himself to the Yeti in all of this over and above. He was never a particularly nice person. He was a birther, and also I think he was Freedom Caucus, or all those dreadful things. The Hermit, he's going to try and hide, but I think he could be forced to testify in some form, if not the J6, in another court. And this means that the Republicans are delicately balanced.
Wow.
Here. Mark Meadows' testimony is actually, I think, the biggest threat to the GOP holding the line. What hearings? I was watching House of Cards on Netflix. I haven't seen it. All this stuff. They're really vulnerable.
Wow, very interesting. And Lady G, what do you have? As someone just wrote, the dark-haired woman is Melania jumping ship. So it could be anyone. What do you have, Lady G?
Well, I have more are coming out of the woodwork to testify again against all those people that are involved with the happy family of Trumpian crazies. This is affecting the health going forward, because this is a crapshoot that he is losing on. As more information is being offered, again, the same thing, spies in the camp. This is rapidly moving forward to tie him up. He's not going to get out of it.
Wow. Right. I've got some similar things as well. Now, bear in mind with me, this is a new deck. And you know what it's like when you've got a new deck, you're not familiar with the cards, and you just start seeing weird stuff.
It's really hard.
Yeah. So if we look here, who else got the Wheel of Fortune? Was it you, Dianne?
Yeah.
Look at that. So we all know what that means. And of course, pull along with us as well. Have a chop with us as well if you've got your tarot cards, and let us know in the comments what you get. But look at that. So we know that Mr. Meadows is in a huge change of fortune at the moment, because if one or more of us are getting the same card, then we know that this is definitely a consistent energy here. So his fortunes are changing. And the thing is, I think like you were saying on your show, Lena, he's got this completely unremarkable face. You would never think a man was capable of such malignant, Machiavellian scheming. But
he doesn't look like he's trying to bring down the first world. You look at him and you just see a fairly ordinary person.
Right.
Indeed. And what's interesting is, in my 5-card pull, I've got 2 kings that have turned up. We got the King of Pentacles, so we know who that probably is. That's probably Duck Larange, trying to figure out different donation buttons as he pretends to try and raise money for his ex-wife's funeral. Just shameless, coming in that obstacle position. But look who comes next. It's the King of Swords. So we know that this can deal with what? Lawyers, legalities. So there's this scrutiny in a way that's sort of like hot on the heels here. Now you can see this horse is a bit more animated than the Pentacles one. Do you see like the leg is slightly lifted up a little bit more? I'm getting to learn this deck. So there we are. Sword of Truth is sort of coming for Mark Meadows. Next card I get here is the 4 of Cups. So here we are. I mean, emotions, innit? Emotions, but also as well not liking the options.
No, and they're not good options if you're Mark Meadows at the moment.
No,
absolutely not good options at all. And then what I've got here is, I think this is the 10 of Wands. No, it's not. It's the 8 of Wands.
Look at the picture, love. Look at the picture.
Yeah, but these ones are really simple. But it's good. It's good as tarot readers that we go out of our comfort zone from time to time. So here we are, 8 of Wands. So we know what the 8 of Wands is, right? It's having what's that? Or some creature.
And here's the kicker for Mark Meadows. You know what? I don't think Trump would recognize him in a lineup. He's gone all the way for Trump.
Right.
But because he's got that nothing persona, Trump likes the extreme circus acts,
Yeah. Yeah, it's remarkable. So he's got the 8 of Wands as the outcome. So not easy for him. I think his legal jeopardy has just really kind of zoomed up. Oh, let's see how we're doing on time. All right, actually, I think we're going to be all right. Okay, next one.
Yeah.
Out of the baboon parade show. So Bannon, Steve Bannon. The warthog, as I sometimes again for entertainment.
The warthog, I love that.
To me, that's I have a name for it. Sorry, the warthog. That's what he is. Anyway, so what's his future? What is Steve Bannon's future? And I'm going to use. I'm going to use the Rider-Waite for him. I'm going to use the classic.
Now, someone says, Melania is married to Trump. Will she be responsible for paying his debts if he dies? In Australia, we call that sexually transmitted debt. Right. Wouldn't that be hilarious? Okay.
My goodness. I mean, we'll have to see. I'm still sticking with... in terms of interpreting my dream as the brunette being Cassidy Hutchinson, because that really was the game changer. And in the dream, the woman did look like her, but either way, not good. Not good.
Sorry, I've forgotten the question. What was it?
So Steve Bannon, what's his future?
Oh, how could I forget the warthog? Yes.
Oh, indeed. I've always seen him writing a book from jail, like his version of Mein Kampf or something like that.
Yeah. But luckily for the rest of us, the followers don't read.
True. Oh my gosh. All right, I'm good to go.
Go for it, Steve.
So where he gets the 2 of Swords to start off with, I'm thinking, not just is he at a crossroads, but he's going to have some decisions to make legally. I'm wondering if they're going to try to get him to make some deals that he's not going to want to make. And, it has to do with his relationships. And we know the biggest problem for him is his relationship with 45. So I think there's going to be some decisions that he's going to have to make in regards to his dealings with him that he's really not going to want to. But I don't think he's going to have a choice because he's in for this Tower moment where, look, he ends up with 10 swords in the back. So, we're asking about his future, and it's just one where everything falls apart for him. I think he's going to feel like a victim. I don't think he's ever going to accept any sort of responsibility. But, at the end of the day, he's going to be like, oh, everybody stabbed me in the back, poor me. And but nevertheless, I think he is going to end up paying for the things that he has done.
Mm-hmm.
Who would like to go next?
I'll go.
Yep.
We were shuffling and shuffling as we were raving on. But he gets the flaming hand too.
Wow.
I love this. Up till now, he's been the magician. He's been almost as Teflon as Duck L'Orange, right? He's got away with so much. He's hitting the anvil still. This is his podcast. He's just constantly trying to drum up this drama and warlike stuff. And finishes with a picture of the warthog with the 8 of Swords. Look at the face on this. Can you see it?
That really is a warthog.
Steve Bannon.
Gosh. Wow.
Which is my card for going to jail. Which is where he should be as we speak.
Absolutely, it should be. Right. Okay, Lady G, what do you have for us?
Well, we have, the things done under the cover of darkness and his illusions and dramas that he has that he's been quite passionate about.
Yeah.
Okay. But it's time, cold time is coming, time for reflection and juggling all this stuff, because they are above it going to be looking deeper at his happenings with the White House behind the scenes. And that is a juggle, again, the crapshoot, but he's trying to distance himself from, trying to get out of it, trying to manipulate it as usual. But we have the King of Cups now. Usually that's my thing for the Biden administration, and I think it has to do with the January 6th commission, so he's not going to get out of this stuff. It's going to come back to bite him in the rear end.
Indeed, indeed.
And the courts. I think the court he's going to have is not going to deal with him favorably.
Yes, we'll shall have to see. And just to mention in the comments are still rife with talking about Ivana and the outcomes. So Mark Mackenzie, who we all know, hello Mark. So Ivana's New York Times obituary was very enlightening. She was clearly the brains and discipline behind the brand, and 45 were, behind it all. What value did he have? Now it's quite interesting. When I pulled cards for that situation, talking about Ivana's passing, what came up was the Queen of Swords, which shows what an intelligent woman. So I just thought that was very interesting on that one. Keep it coming in the comments, folks. We really appreciate it. What do I have here? Oh, as we just go over 1,200. Thank you, guys. Right, Steve Bannon, yeah, the warthog, yeah, the man who's not washed for about months, yeah. Well, at least that's what he looks like. I mean,
he looks like he hasn't washed since the 70s.
Yeah, he just like
maybe he hasn't.
Maybe he hasn't.
I can imagine, like in Snoopy. What is the character that always had some buzzing flies around him?
Pigpen.
I just keep seeing buzzing flies when I close my. Anyway, I know it's naughty to kind of insult these people, but some people only deserve ridicule. Anyway, so if we look here, we've got the Four of Wands. So I'm taking this to mean at the White House. Yeah, quite literally, I'm going to take it as the White House. Yeah, and all of his machinations and all those various different kind of things that he's done. But look at this. Look at this. Oh, could it be that Mr. Bannon, after rummaging and rooting around for all those vegetables of controversy his whole life with his snout and his horns, is actually finally feeling a bit of this is not feeling happy. However, the five of cups, sometimes it can mean a friend may come to one's aid. So there could be an element where he's still hoping that I think powerful friends will help him out.
Right.
I don't think it's going to happen, because look what's next.
Yeah.
It requires no interpretation at all. It's very clear he's going to be quite upset about what's going on, especially in regards to what a certain relationship, Two of Cups, with who? An entrepreneur, King of Wands. So it's quite clear in Bannon's cards, from what I can see there and what we've all picked. This isn't going to be a bed of roses for him. I did do a deep dive on him last year, I think it was, and I do see him, if he does go to jail this time, trying to write some kind of book, his story, because why not? Everyone else that's been close to him has written a book. So there we are. Anything else to add to that, ladies, before we move on to the next character?
No, Carol's asking, she's still worried about and wondering about Ginny and Clarence Thomas. But the way this show works, I think, sorry, Carol, we have Hogarth has the questions ahead of time.
Yeah, but I mean, we can always go back if we've got a little bit of time.
We've got a minute. Yeah, I think they're important.
We're probably going to be able to squeeze in this one, and then we need to talk about Russia, of course. Again. So this one, the next roll call of not beauties, shall we say, DeSantis.
Oh, geez.
What's his future? DeSantis. Oof.
He's the worry, isn't he?
Who? I'm sorry.
DeSantis.
Just Satan.
Yeah. Trump with a brain. I mean, that's really scary.
What do you know? What? Well, my little nickname for him is Flat Tire Trump because because it's that similar type of thing. But you know what I find rather a little bit sinister about DeSantis is just how cynical he is. He is very calculating and cynical. Do you know what I mean? And it's there's a coldness.
And it shows.
There's a real coldness there with DeSantis. You know, Trump's bombastic and over the top and absolutely outrageous and stuff like that, but he's not cynical in quite that sense.
Yeah.
Very cold, very, very cold when I tune in with DeSantis.
So my cards for him are a bit of a mixed bag. Like the other ones, they were just straightforward negative, end of story. But with him, you know, here he is the Page of Wands. I think he's kind of prospecting. He's trying to figure out, like, how far can I go? You know, because I think he does want to be president. I think he does want to move forward. He's, you know, but whatever. His obstacle, the way I would interpret the King of Swords in this case, is that he's not ethical. He's not moral. This is not a man that's fair and balanced. And I do think that there is some possible legal issues for him down the road. You know, I don't think he's going to get away scot-free from things. He is disillusioned, Seven of Cups. He's not someone who is grounded. He's not down to earth. You know, his head's a bit in the clouds, which I think oftentimes makes him feel a bit burdened and oppressed. But at the same time, he is grounded just enough to know how to get donors and how to move forward and to actually accomplish things. So, yeah, for me, it's a little bit of a mixed bag with him. I don't think he's going anywhere soon, unfortunately.
Lena, would you like to go next?
Yeah. The moon. So he's covering up things in his own past. So the problem with DeSantis, I think, is the Seven of Cups, illusion, delusion, confusion. It's confusing for the Republicans what to do because basically the Republican machine would prefer DeSantis, right? So this is a real dilemma. Do they stick with the Yeti or they go with DeSantis? So he's causing them huge amount of confusion. He gets the Justice card as the outcome card. And this is the thing with this secretive moon. He's not a clean skin. And things are going to be brought out. And I hope, my fantasy is that the Yeti, because he'll be so wounded and mad and deranged, he'll actually expose DeSantis's stuff. So I'm just adding that. That's a Lena-ism on the end of the actual read.
I like that.
Wouldn't that be heaven?
Yeah.
Right?
And I can see that happening.
His biggest opponent for DeSantis is actually Trump. I've always thought that and said that it will be Trump.
I think it's the other way around. I think the biggest problem for Trump is DeSantis.
Oh, do you? Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
They're both mutual.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Lady G, what do you have?
Well, we have the Fool, you know, which the path he's chosen, he's kind of walking off the cliff. He wants to be more Trumpian than Trump with this power and this stuff, but this is bringing nothing but a lot of pain that he's going to have to face. He's trying to be the miser, holding on, punishing people that do things that he doesn't like. So trying to move that on, but that's causing things to be juggled. So not going well. When he wants to get the MAGA crowd, all of those, what's happening though, he's going to be an outsider. He's going to be on the outside looking in because of justice, because of all the stuff going on with 45, and people are getting disillusioned with these ones that want to be, you know, the next dictator.
Right.
Absolutely. I think the big money is definitely kind of wanting to move behind him, because these revelations that Jan 6 are pulling out, I mean, we still have to wait to see what the DOJ does about it, but at least there is a sense of moral accountability. These people, of course, need to spend many years behind bars and all of this kind of stuff, but at least now there is this sense of this, at least this moral accountability where it's now beyond doubt, you know, what is going on, and there needs to be some serious action. This stuff can't go unparried. Anyway, I've got slightly off the topic. DeSantis. So I think I was just reading through the comments and stuff like that, trying to kind of catch up. So with DeSantis, look here, we've got the 10 of Wands, yeah? So someone's actually sweating and feeling the work a lot harder than we actually think. Yeah?
Yes.
Could it be that he's starting to feel slightly overwhelmed? Because what I suspect is this. Obviously, DeSantis, like that, you know, as you know, I have my little nicknames. For me, he's Flat Tire Trump. Trump knows that he is putting his tank on his lawn, as it were, because Trump is the con man par excellence, and he knows a grift when he sees one. And I think he looks at DeSantis and he's like, this guy is a grift, and he's grifting me. I think there is a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that we don't know about, where Trump is going to try and unleash merry hell on his rival, because he'd rather have DeSantis flat on his face than be outshone. Yeah, because the narcissist, you know, that's the biggest thing you can threaten to the biggest threat to a narcissist is taking their shine.
Yes.
That is the one that will really get you in the crosshairs. So he's feeling more burned than he appears. And then look, we got the Hierophant who's come in the obstacle position. So it could be that there could be certain laws or federal laws or something like that, or it may be in regards to the laws that he's been passing, because this guy seems to be kind of pumping out federal laws, you know, like hot pies, you know, on a pie festival or something like that. I think there's going to be some scrutiny there, and there's a lot of banning of books and all of these various different bits and bobs. But when we look at the next card, look, it's the five of swords. So there's an abuse of power in regards to government. I think apparently people are really starting to suffer now in terms of real estate, because apparently he's not giving relief or to people that are struggling in Florida. Real estate. So again, laws, abuse of power nearby. Next card, he's in it. Oh, we've just hit 1300. Thank you, guys. Look at that. It is the Knight of Pentacles. So we know there he's in it for the money. Yeah, he's playing the long game. These are the sponsors. These are the people who are potentially slowly, or if I do it this way, backing away from Trump. I'll do it that way. Backing away from Trump. You know, these cameras are in reverse, folks.
Yes, it's very hard.
When we look here at the outcome, look, I get the devil in reverse. Yeah, so the devil is a tricky card anyway, but when it's in reverse, it's like 10 times as bad. It can show real Machiavellian machinations, mental illness, psychopathy, all of these different things. And what I do worry about DeSantis is just that he's got this, I keep saying cold, but cold is not the right word. There's this kind of cold, unfeeling, cynical, deeply cynical man. I feel like he's a deeply cynical man.
Yes. I get the tip. I think there's a really good comment here from Sandman. Republicans always forget there's not enough of them to win elections on a national level. They need independence, and independents don't like authoritarian policies.
I have to make a confession here. When you were talking about the pies dropping, I'm thinking back to living in India and all the cows and the cow pies dropping.
You had perfect pies. Yes, that's right.
Cow pies, absolutely.
I'm seeing a little different image there.
That's hilarious. Yes.
I mean, yeah, it's certainly, it's going to be very interesting to see how it all plays out. Remember, this conjunction, folks, is getting stronger and stronger. Mars, Uranus, Rahu, end of the month, July 31st to August 1st is the peak where they're all going to be at the same degree, 24 degrees of sidereal Aries. So we're already seeing everything happening. Yeah. So, but with Lady G's brilliant interjection there, and we can go on the theme of agriculture, which is with Putin. Yeah. Does Putin have a hidden plan in regards to global food and oil? Now, I was watching, I think it was Linda G that was saying it just earlier, but I have not had time to kind of have a look at the news and see. But allegedly, there is burning of fields going on in Ukraine, wanting to burn the grain. I hope it is not true, but the tactics of which are rather obvious, aren't they?
And I remember seeing a couple of months ago, something like 400 million people are dependent on Ukrainian wheat to eat.
Because
in all sorts of countries.
Oh, yeah. This Putin, for me, he's doing a Stalin move, which I think I mentioned on some previous shows. And he's just literally going to try and starve people out.
Scorched earth.
Yeah. Dianne, are you ready?
I am. So I think for all of us, just globally, no matter what country you're talking about, what leader you're talking about, this is a time of like great change. We are at a turning point. We are starting to come into our karmic destinies, and as a civilization, as a planet, right? He's putting us in a position where all of us are going to have to persevere, because I don't know how much I separate myself from some of these people that are going to be hurting. Because what my cards are already saying is, yes, he is doing things like that. Those are his intentions. He is going to hold up, food production, putting out oil, that sort of thing. Here's the Hanged Man. He's going to be testing people's strength, their courage, their patience. This is like a test for us, and not a test that we want to go through. However, there are going to be repercussions. He does get the Judgment card ultimately, but look how long it took me to get to it too. So, yeah, I think he is going to be held accountable. So my answer is yes, I do think he is doing it. And I think if he lasts long enough, he will be held accountable for his poor judgment, right? I mean, to say the least, to put it mildly, it's poor judgment. It's cruelty, really, but
it's cruelty.
It's cruelty.
So cruel. Okay, who's ready? Lena, what would you like to
share? It leads off fire in the fields. Look at this, setting things alight.
Oh my God.
Wow. The world is impacted, right? As we've just discussed. He's a mercenary, the Knight of Pentacles. He's absolutely, and a mercenary, not just with money, but with ruthlessness, which is what we were talking about. He's the king of discs here in the sense of knowing. He actually knows, and it's pure power. He is just exerting pure power because the devil. It's just like a book here, like the devil with two heads. Where's the camera? Yeah.
Okay.
Disgusting.
My goodness. Lady G, what do you have?
Well, going into it, he doesn't hear anything from anybody. No, he's just cold. He's going to do his bear stuff and put people out in the cold, There's no humanity with him. When it comes to people and families, he's chosen the path, to disrupt the families and disrupt their living conditions, etc. So what we have going forward is not liking the options for the path he's chosen, because he's just going to take whatever opportunity that he can to ruin the economy and ruin it for people with food and family to be able to even have life.
He's just terrible. Do you remember in one of my dreams that I had about him, and the planets came through, and even Pluto, which deals with everything that's possibly the worst of what humanity is capable of, and even Pluto was just like, when it came to Putin, it was just like, he's just beyond. He's like a black hole. It's not even the void. He just wants to destroy. His energy is just so, it's just terrible. But anyway, here we are. So when we're talking about Putinchka, look at that. We get the two of the wands. There he is, sitting there, making choices, thinking how he can screw up the world. Quite literally, yeah? That's him standing there like, what machinations can I do to affect the world in so many different ways, yeah? Because that's the type of person he is. Why? Because look who comes up in the obstacle position. The devil. Yeah, I get the devil card as well. And it is reversed, meaning what? Like I said, psychosis, deep mental illness, perversion, deeply corrupt. It's just beyond the beyond. Like I was saying, Putin, I had this dream about him where I saw a match breaking. And that symbolized that the last vestiges of him that was sort of like what we would recognize as human gave in to the darkness. And there it is. Yeah, there it is. We get the Chariot, but in reverse. The Chariot is all about what? Speed, moving forward and stuff like that. He's literally trying to halt the cogs of the world.
He's not letting things out.
Yeah, he's deliberately doing it, and of course that is a second major arcana. I've actually got three, but look, they're both next to each other. This psychotic behavior, wanting to literally stop the progress of the world, because that's what he's prospecting. He's like, what can I do? You know. So he's looking. The next card we get here is the Six of Pentacles. So he's going to be what? Using that grain to bribe the world. He's already been doing it. And the best way for him, because if he seizes the storage, but he burns the fields, that means no harvest next year, which means that grain he's got access to is going to triple in value. And this is him almost like crumbling out the grain to these countries that are going to be desperate, starving. If we look, there are the hands, literally. He wants to create starvation and tumult in the world so he can be seen as the one to grant this or that and get people to stop, sanctions, embargoes. This is what his goal is. However, the outcome card, Lady Justice, comes forth. Could it be that so much of his crimes are so well documented now that eventually, when this war is eventually over, which I hope it soon will be, the scales of justice will come down heavily on him. But we can see those cards, I think, are very clear, isn't it? He's trying to starve the world. He's trying to use it as a form of power and control. He wants to cause as much tumult and wickedness as he can. He's a thoroughly nasty man. My goodness. So the time has whipped by. We've just gone over the hour. And any last comments to add to that before we go?
No. America's in drought, so it's hard for America to step into the breach. Australia's a big wheat producer, but we're in flood. This is a problem.
Yeah, it really is a problem. Anything else, Lady G or Dianne, to add to that?
Good. Right.
Perfect. Well, thank you, everyone, for joining us this evening.
Thank you. So many of you. It's brilliant.
I know.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Wow. Yes.
People, which has been wonderful. So as you could see, here with HoDiGaLe, honestly, the chat is worth a watch on its own.
Fantastic.
These guys get stuck in. Thank you so much,
guys,
for the donations as well. And Melanie Sharat, thank you too for your very generous donation, and everyone else that contributed. So we will see you next week, of course. So much news, of course, is probably going to happen between now and can only imagine. So thank you so much for joining us, everyone, and we will see you next week. All right. Bye-bye for now, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.